Sometime in the 1980s, the U.S. government held a trial for what would be their next new pistol. The trial was between some other guns, but two came to the forefront: the Beretta 92 and the Sig P226. And they both were revolutionary in the time because they could go through more than one magazine without jamming, unlike many pistols of the time. Before we get too far, let's clear these pistols. Mag empty. Chambers empty. Mag empty. Chambers empty. And chambers empty. Let's start with the Beretta 92. This one's actually a 92S, which means that the magazine release is down at the bottom. This is actually better for tactical operators because it drops the magazine in your hand, retaining it for later use. Not like those bougie guys who just drop their magazines on the ground, never to use them again. We reuse our magazines in this household, so I like that. Now, although there's one mag release down here, Beretta did copy the AR-15 and tried to put a magazine release up here towards the trigger where it's a little bit more ergonomic. But as you can see, this one doesn't work. Most of these are broken. Some of them work, but not very many of them. See, no mag coming out. Now, the Beretta is double action, single action, like all the guns that were specified in this trial, which means that from decocked, you can run it in double action mode or single action mode, although you don't have to thumb it open every time because as you fire, the slide will reciprocate and it will get it ready. It has a nice short reset on there, which as you can see there, and then it's got this real dumbass safety lever decocker. It's not a safety, it's more like a full-time decocker. It actually rotates this bar here out of the way, and then you can't hit the firing pin because there's no firing pin plunger there, which is safe, but boy, isn't it in a dumb spot because you have to reach up here and press it down, and then you got to remember to press it up, because if you don't press it up, if you leave it down, you can just get a dead trigger and then you die. So you got to always make sure to pop that back up, unless you're in a sport where you have to take it down, like IPSC or something like that. I guess that's one thing to think about. The double action is not bad. It's smooth, but it's long, heavy. And then we've got that single action. There's also a half cock that is our safety to prevent the hammer from falling when we're not actuating the trigger. And it's right there. And that will prevent the hammer from falling. So if this hammer accidentally fell from being jarred, it will catch itself on that half cock there. Now, another one of the disadvantages with the Beretta 92 is that martial artists can disassemble your pistol in the blink of an eye. They can basically just rip your slide off right in front of you, and then you're stuck with nothing. So, not the pistol of choice if you're going to be fighting any trained kung fu or karate experts. Definitely. Now, I didn't have a Sig P226 handy, but I've got something that's the same thing. This is a Norenko NP22. It's a clone of the Sig P226. Now, the advantages of this pistol, one big advantage, this was actually chosen by the Navy. They needed something that would be better for humanely dispatching of dolphins that they ran over with their patrol boats, and this guy will kill dolphins all day long. It's just a dolphin slaying machine. And there's a couple things on it that make it a little bit easier to use compared to the Beretta. One is the safety. There is no safety. There's just a decocker. Boom, done. We're safe-ish. Safe enough. Still got that double action there, always ready. But you know, why not? That's just a simpler way to get this thing ready to holster. Same kind of thing as the Beretta 92. Your first shot is going to be that long double action. And then after that, you're off to single action. This one's got the short reset kit in it, so it's quite short. Some other 226s wouldn't be that short, but quite nice indeed. One disadvantage with this is that these controls are quite tight, and just putting your hands normally where you'd expect them to be, you will accidentally push down on that slide lock, and your slide won't lock open. So you'll need to get used to some stupid grip like this where you don't have that thumb a little bit closer. Luckily, this one was designed probably with kung fu artists in mind, and it's a little bit harder to field strip and get that slide off, but it's still doable. But you'll definitely have to be against like a kung fu master to have to worry about that kind of thing. All right, now that we've got the boring stuff that doesn't mean anything out of the way, let's get into more important comparisons between the Beretta 92 and the Sig P226. First, let's look at the movies that they're used in. So the Beretta 92 used in a lot of famous movies out there, such as Leon the Professional, Zombieland Double Tap, Sicario, 21 Jump Street, and some old Christmas movie. I can't remember the name of it, but Christmas movies do have family appeal. Now, the 226 used in movies completely different, like Leon the Professional, Zombieland Double Tap, Sicario 2, 21 Jump Street, and RoboCop. It's definitely got the edge on Sicario's because it's in number 2 instead of number 1. But RoboCop versus Christmas movie, I think the family would appreciate Christmas movies, so definitely the Beretta 92's got the edge there. Now, if we compare anime girls shooting the P226 versus the Beretta 92, first let's take a look at the Sig 226. It's one-handed, which is badass. It's always the right way to roll. I'm not sure what the hell is holding that holster on, but I don't care either. Now compare that with this Beretta 92. Embarrassing. I don't know. Is that a teacup hold? That's a teacup hold. Embarrassing. Beretta, huge loss on this one. I don't even know. I can't even talk right now. I'm so angry. All right, why don't we take a look at the trigger pulls on these pistols? So I'm going to start with the Beretta. My chamber's empty. My mag's empty. Let's do the single action first. Let's see what this baby can do. 3 pounds, 10 ounces. So right around a 4-pound trigger pull on the single action for this Beretta. Let's look at double action. 9 pounds, 5 ounces. So we've got a 9-pound double action, 4-pound single action on this well-worn police surplus Beretta 92. Now let's try the trigger in the Sig P226. My chamber's empty. My magazine's empty. Let's get on to that single action pull. So if you remember, our Beretta was at 4 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 ounces. So just over a 4-pound trigger for the single action. Let's get on to the double action now. 10 pounds, 1 ounce. 10-pound trigger, a little bit of a heavier trigger in the P226. Now you might be wondering whether those trigger pulls are even good. Let's compare it to another pistol from the same era, a CZ75. I'm going to use a CZ75 clone. This Shadow 2 is really just a CZ75. So let's go ahead and get the single action on this guy. 2 pounds, 8 ounces. So quite a bit lighter on the CZ75 clone. Why don't we go ahead and try the double action? And now we're 6 pounds, 9 ounces. So right around 7 pound. So really, the Beretta and the Sig are okay, but they're just not as good as even like a CZ75 clone. So which pistol should you get? The P226 or the Beretta 92? Well, unless you're really old, neither. They're not that good. They're kind of old. They're both outdated. They're both huge pistols, and they're both completely outdated compared to other stuff that's out there today. Really, you'd get it if you like the look, or if you dreamed of getting one as a kid, or your dad had one or something like that. Maybe then you'd want one of these pistols. Or if you want to shoot dolphins or eat crayons or something like that, you can pick the pistol that's ideal for you and your use case. But primarily, I think these things are out of date, and I would buy something else. Thanks for watching. Okay, now that you made it this far, this video is just to troll people and piss them off, and it's probably worked. Check out the comments. Don't let them in on the secret. They got to make it to the end to know. And now, the retractions.